I'd like to reconvene the meeting for the Board of Education for Wednesday, June 21st, 2023, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
Okay. So we have one nay. The first item on the agenda, and I'd like to just comment to start, Mrs. Bailey's not able to be with us tonight. She has a family function. And I'd also like to recognize Lily Kibler, who is in the audience, who is our incoming student member of the board, and her term begins officially as of July 1st. So she will join us here at the table at our July meeting. So welcome, Lily. It's nice to have you here this evening. And with that, Dr. Smith, I will turn to you for your report.
Lovely. This is going to be very, very brief because it's summer. So we had our board meeting, our day board meeting, right as we were wrapping things up. Between then and now, the very next week, we had June 13th, my birthday, by the way. We went before the county commissioners and we finalized our entire budget that started all the way back in December, if you'll remember, December 2022. Then January, we worked really hard. Then February, we put it all together and sent it over there. Then March, we discussed it. Then April was the public hearing. And then in May, there was clarification where we went back before them and they graciously gave us another $700,000 to move forward with the construction project so that every single elementary school would have a fully built-out security vestibule and envelope security system. Then they came back on June 13th, my birthday, and they approved the budget in total and all of the related documents and executed. So we are here moving forward. So that means that we have a fully funded budget for next year, and July 1, all the administrative people, they get a 2% salary scale adjustment and a step progression. Every single teacher, certificated staff gets a 5.5% salary scale adjustment and a progression step. And every single person who is in the ESP, the support personnel, they will be getting an 8.5% salary scale adjustment and a step. So thank you very much to the county commissioners for their funding of that budget. Thank you very much to the board for working collaboratively with us throughout the entire year to make sure that we always kept our kids in front of us and the people who work most closely with our kids in our minds and hearts as we were doing the budget. So that was a very wonderful, great thing. Of note, today we had a whole bunch of teacher leaders come in, and I think, Dr. Marr, about how many? 24. So representatives from schools across the system, elementary, middle, and high, and they're in a 2-day kickoff program to talk about what leadership means, teacher leadership in particular, talking about like how you ultimately become a leader of other teachers. So that will then progress tomorrow. And then they will do individual work throughout the year at each one of the schools, specifically on school improvement planning and things such as that. Here we are in June. We find ourselves in the third week of June, really the fourth week of June. This is our last full week. Starting next week, we move to the compressed summer work week hours, which means that Monday through Friday, all the employees will be working not 7.5-hour days, but 9.5-hour days or 10-hour days, depending upon their assignment. And then the whole system will be closed on that Friday, June 30th. And then we get into July, and July has the 4th of July in the middle of it anyway. So we here on Monday, then we come back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then for the remainder of July, we work basically 10-hour days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday through Saturday we have off for staff. And that is something that was negotiated over a decade ago. So we have opportunities for those who wish to join a fantastic team and to work on behalf of the 17,600 students in St. Mary's County Public Schools. We have probably 65 teaching vacancies still open across all levels, elementary, middle, and high, as well as a whole host of supporting positions as well, everything from roles in fiscal service to supporting services and maintenance. Please come visit our website, smcps.org, and hit the red button and learn more about the opportunities available at St. Mary's County Public Schools. And with that, so ends my report. Thank you very much for your indulgence.
All right, thank you, sir. We have no recognitions this evening. We have no public hearing. Do we have any public comment? Okay.
First, Ms. Jackie Snyder.
All right, so let me pull out the statement, the public comment statement. The board welcomes public input on policies and issues affecting our schools. The board takes this time to listen and consider, but not to comment. This is not, however, the appropriate forum for negative comments or criticisms of individual staff or students. Concerns about those that cannot be resolved at the level closest to the situation should be directed to the superintendent, and we will not permit comments criticizing individual staff or students, since this is outside the scope of public comment. We sit as an appellate body in both student and employee appeals, so we cannot comment on or have prior knowledge of a case that would influence our ability to deliberate, to maintain the ability of the board to render a fair and unbiased decision. Comments regarding individual student or personnel issues cannot be presented at public comment. We ask that you sign in at the beginning of the meeting, and public comment is limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and you may not yield your time to anyone else. If you have a written statement, if you would give it to Mrs. Short, then she will make sure that it's disseminated to all the board members. With that, Mrs. Snyder.
Keep myself to my 3 minutes. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jackie Snyder, and I'm an instructional resource teacher at Duke Elementary. My husband and I moved here in 1996 to begin our teaching careers with St. Mary's County Public Schools. We've taught, coached, and been very involved and loyal to SMCPS for the past 27 years, we're proud to say. I'm here today to ask the board to consider including IRTs in the national board salary increase that classroom teachers started receiving last year. I understand that the decision to not include IRTs is from the state level at MSDE, but I'm asking that our board and that St. Mary's County Public Schools look at the value of the IRT position and the direct impact it has on student achievement, and that we provide that salary increase for IRTs who are nationally board certified as well. When I received the email last spring that I was not qualified to receive this increase, I have to say that I was very taken back. And I met with Dr. Smith and Dr. Montgomery, and we had very wonderful meetings with lots of great information. And it wasn't just the salary increase that really bothered me. I think it was just how undervalued I felt in the position. And when I told others that we weren't receiving the increase, administrators, teachers, students, they were just as taken back because they see firsthand daily the direct work. It's not from a distance, it's in the school, it's every day, it's with the kids. And we inquired more, and we were told that you needed to be a teacher of record, primarily responsible and accountable for a student's academic progress for at least 60% of the duty day. I meet with students all day long. I teach gifted and talented groups, reteach groups, intervention groups. I have a copy of my schedule that I'll provide. I work with 8 to 10 groups a day, an average of about 100 kids a day. Students are in my classroom all day long, or I'm pushing into their classrooms. And the rare times I'm not working with students, I'm planning with teachers, I'm looking at their data with them, helping them make the best instructional decisions for their students. In classrooms that need extra support based on data, I do co-teaching lessons to help not only the students grow, but the teacher as well. The IRT role is so incredibly important to schools and student achievement. Administration and teachers count on me to be a leader to the teachers. I provide current, relevant data. I provide professional development. But most of all, students count on me daily. Whether it's enrichment or in interventions, I'm trying to help them reach their fullest potential. I received my national board certification way back in 2010, before this salary increase was even a thing, and then decided, again, before I even knew about this in 2020, to recertify. I legitimately did it because I wanted to better myself as an educator. I'd already earned my master's degree, and this just seemed like the next natural step. To my knowledge, there are only 3 IRTs who are nationally board certified. What worries me is there's no incentive for other IRTs to go and receive this achievement. We do many jobs within our school and we wear many hats. The biggest part of our job is working directly with the students and their teachers. I plan my lessons, I look at data, I write narrative report cards, I have parent conferences. I'm a teacher on the salary pay range because I am a teacher. The word teacher is in my title, and for that I'm extremely proud. So what I'm asking is that you also recognize me as a teacher, and when it's time for negotiations this year, to remember that instructional resource teachers are teachers too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will take the time to say that I know this is unusual, but MABE, through our legislative committee on which I serve, is working to change this at the state level legislatively.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Next.
Mr. Rick Landberg.
So, hi, my name's Rick Lindberg. I've lived here in St. Mary's County for 23 years now. I've pretty much made this home. I fell in love with this area. I feel it's a conservative, wonderful place to raise my kids. I was going to share more about myself, but I'll just say that I, like other parents, are very busy these days. We have a lot on our plates. My issue is I feel I've put my trust into the school system here, and count on my teachers and the board to be unbiased and apolitical. I think you guys have failed in that regard. Recently, my daughter was assigned Westmore's book to read, given a couple days' notice. I just find that difficult to believe that it's not an agenda-driven book. The teacher that assigned this to her is the equity lead. I don't understand what that has to do with educating kids, especially in an English language arts course. Again, I'm busy, I'm not a public speaker. I just wrote this stuff down today, but I feel betrayed. I feel like the school list should be something that's determined before the school year starts. It's something that the goal should be that all parents, or the vast majority, would find that reading list acceptable. And if not, then I should be afforded the time to understand what's coming up and be able to help pick what my child reads. I don't think that books that, if you read the material within that Westmore book, it's contrary to my Christian beliefs, and I don't appreciate it. And I was basically told on like a Wednesday, your child's going to read this the next week. I emailed the teacher, I emailed the principal, and what I got back was, we'd be happy to. Here's the list. By the time I got the list, she had been assigned her reading assignment. On top of that, she was the only kid that didn't read that book, so now she's an outcast. She's reading her book in the library. The goal should be all kids and make everybody happy and not a political agenda. And I'll just leave it at that.
All right, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move approval of the consent agenda as presented. Approval of minutes of June 7th, 2023. Personnel teachers, personnel administrative and supervisory, 2023 Ford Transit Cargo Van purchase, Waldorf Ford. Interior Painting Services, Department of Maintenance. Specialized Education of Maryland, Inc., In-District Services. Food Service, Processed Food, Department of Food and Nutrition Services. St. Mary's County School Bus Contractors Health and Welfare Trust, supplemental contribution. Purchase a forklift from Eastern Lift Truck Company, Incorporated, and compact construction equipment.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay. We have one nay. Thank you very much. Next item is our action items. The first one is the renewal renovation of 8 restrooms at Oakville Elementary School. Mrs. Liano.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm here for renewal for the renovation of 8 restrooms at Oakville Elementary School. The request is to increase the contract that we have, an indefinite quantity job order contract for general construction for Dennis and Anderson Construction Corporation in the amount of $239,103.56. The existing contract that we have with Dennis is up to $150,000, so that's why I'm here today to request this increase, and a contingency on the amount of $20,000 for the contingency. That includes demolition and refurbishment of 8 of the identified restrooms in Oakville Elementary School. This all started in one of my visits of the school for a building mod, and I walk in the school, I realized the conditions of the bathrooms. Not only that they were deteriorating, but also they were lacking a lot of ADA requirements. I'm an advocate for ADA, and every time I see a potential to fund any project, I will bring up projects like this for our students and our staff. The original restrooms data, it's from 1966 and 1976, depending on the location of these restrooms. The spaces are very inefficient for bathrooms. We have found that some of them have barriers, either not having availability to be built as ADA, or that they have older styles of ADA where today they don't comply for students on wheelchairs. And also damages fixtures and finishes, as we can see in the pictures. The scope will improve the ADA compliance. We will update all the finishes. We will also update fixtures, accessories. It's a complete overhaul. With this scope, we are looking to reduce maintenance cost because everything will be new. We are not using old fixtures and trying to fix. We will improve the sanitation and prevent spread of germs with new fixtures and finishes. And there will be easy to clean surfaces. And the most important thing is we will create a better image of these important spaces in all of our facilities. I added a diagram of the location of the restrooms, so we better understood where we were talking. We have cafeteria, girls and boys restrooms. We have 2 staff bathrooms. We have gym, girls and boys restrooms, and what we call the 4th and 5th grade pod restrooms. Again, the scope is to demo all and replace all complete overhaul. And the majority of them include moving plumbing fixtures to make a better layout. Comparisons I added here so you understood the magnitude of the scope. In some cases, we remove a fixture to make room for bigger stalls for ADA. Some others, we move fixtures from one wall to the other to make it more efficient. The same for the staff bathrooms, where we remove a partition that it's existing there, and it's providing a barrier for handicap. In the women's, we will all put all the accessories to make it ADA. And the gym is probably one that doesn't work at all in the way how it was designed, and we will be demoing walls to reconfigure the stalls. How we plan on funding this project, the majority of the fund comes from a grant called Pass Through, which it includes $180,784, and we plan on using aging from state and local aging and operating funds to complete the balance of the project. We are asking a totality of $259,103.56, which includes construction and contingency of 20%. When we do projects like this, we are old and we don't know much of the existing conditions, we like to add a contingency, especially during demo. The procurement portion of it, we used the indefinite quantity contract for general construction, and it's to Dennis Anderson Construction Corporation. This contract was approved on 2021 and it expires in 2024, but again, it's up to $150,000, so I need the extension to cover this project. And at this time, the recommendation is that the Board of Education approve this agenda item as presented, and I am open for questions.
All right, questions, Jim?
Yes. You mentioned you had gone to other schools. Did you observe many of the schools that are, the bathrooms are not ADA compliant?
Oh,
Do you have a number by chance?
no, one of my goals last year was to start doing assessments on all of them. I think we have covered many. We're doing one in Diner 2 this year. Then every time we do the limited renovations, we include all those. So Mechanicsville and Letty Marshall are there. I know maintenance has also worked on getting some, like White Marsh, up to date. Our inventory in the lack of ADA is coming down, but every time we find funding, we make sure to include it. Not only ADA bathrooms, we're making sure that the vestibules are also ADA, everything we build now.
Right. The only other question I have is, in your drawings, you showed staff bathrooms for the girls' room, and I didn't see that it was necessary to make any modifications on the existing women's bathroom for the staff bathrooms. Could you explain to me what you're doing differently?
So the staff bathroom doesn't have any of the accessories that makes an ADA bathroom.
So it's lavs?
They don't have grab bars.
Okay.
The accessories like the toilet paper holders and the mirror are not are not installed at the right location. The finishes are old and deteriorating, so it makes sense to do the whole complex and get the whole school up to date.
Yeah. I'm not questioning why you're doing it, I just didn't understand.
Yes, it's
From your diagram.
just toilet and sink and a mirror, and it doesn't have the grab bars. It's the most important thing
Right.
when you're handicapped. I can tell you last year, or this whole year, I have been one, and it's very important
Yes.
for transferring.
That's all I have, thank you.
Dorothy?
Did you say that there'd be some flooring fixtures?
Yes, ma'am. The
also?
whole walls, floors will be replaced. There's specifically the 5th grade one that currently has a cone on it because the floor is popping. That's one of the things that I worried when we demo what we're gonna find, what's causing that. So yes, over the years it has been patched. It's time to make the school up to date.
So you might be coming back for more money if you find other things,
I
right?
hope not.
Thank you. That's all.
Yeah, hopefully that $20,000 contingency fund will be able to do that for us. On the schematic, you show the cafeteria bathrooms demo only.
Yes,
But you told me that you're going to demo them and replace them.
yes, Mom.
But it's
So,
2 pots of money?
yes, so the pass-through grant is a specific amount of money. So when I got the proposal to do this project, it was over my pass-through grant. So we applied for the balance of the project through aging. And we will do with state aging and local aging.
And I appreciate that, especially since the state, in its infinite wisdom, has decided to end the aging schools
Yes.
program in 2 years. Is that right? 26?
I don't think, this will be the last one that we will be
Okay.
doing aging.
Okay.
25 goes away.
All right. Well, thank you very
So-
much.
And by using state grants, it's money that I don't have to use from
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
projects.
The money will go further.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
thank you. I want to thank you for the background information that you provided, the drawings, they bring it into focus for us, and you explained very well why you're doing what we need to do. It is very old, from 1966 and 1976, so it's time to bring these bathrooms up to today's standard. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. If there are no more questions, is there a motion to approve this item?
I move that the Board of Education approve the use of contract SMCPS 2021-02 DSS DC to award Dennis Anderson Construction Corporation a contract in the amount of $239,103.56 and a construction contingency in the amount of $20,000 for the demolition and refurbishment of 8 identified student and staff restroom at Oakville Elementary School.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
Dorothy, second. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next item is General Construction Award for the limited renovation at Letty Marshall Dent Elementary School. Mrs. Liano.
I am here again for one of the bigger projects that we will be doing this year. I'm excited again, just seeing how we progress in other limited renovations in the area, Mechanicsville, and now we'll bring it to Letty Marshall Dent. This time I'm here for General Construction Award. To request approval to award a contract in the amount of $17,689,000 and $743,620 for construction contingency to Shiva Construction for the limited renovation at Letty Marshall Dent. A little bit of background, this project, it was funded, included in our capital improvement program. The funding is allocated over several years. We started last year. When we started this project last year, we did not have enough funds to complete the project as we wanted for the scope. So it was the first time that we had to rescind a project and come back and start over with a more robust scope to make sure we were gonna do everything we wanted and needed in that school. Construction is expected to begin this summer. Although if awarded today, I still have to go to IIC on the month of August. The start is gonna be a little bit delayed as I would like to, but we have a plan on starting by phasing and moving like a part of classroom into the relocatables so that when we're ready to, we will start demoing by the time we can procure the materials, which is the problem when we start late. But then we will progress as the phasing, which I will share with you later on. The project is expected to continue until 2025. It's going to be a longer lead than Mechanicsville because it's a bigger school, and the scope is also bigger. Construction budget for this project was $20,555,000. Scope of the project includes a little bit of perhaps the whole school. Except the building envelope. We're not doing much of windows, only on the inside. There's storefront windows that need to be replaced in the courtyard. Other than that, we're doing flooring, ceiling, roof, casework, HVAC, all the mechanicals, boiler plant, fire alarm, furniture. We included the playground. We're doing the security vestibule. We're upgrading the health suite. The restrooms, we're converting them into ADA. We are adding a PA system like the same ones that we've been doing in every school. We're doing a bigger generator to comply with code. So the project is extensive. Facing, it's hard to see it here, but we start this year with left front corner of the building, and then we progress throughout. The bigger items like gyms and cafeteria and media center, those will be done during the summer years, during the summer months, but classrooms will be done during school. I have included a video for this presentation that shows how our idea of how we want to revitalize the school, how light is important and how the colors are going to lift up the interior of the school. So hopefully you appreciate.
We've got a lot of technical expertise here in the
St.
room.
Mary's County Public Schools and SEI Architects are renovating Letty Marshall Dent Elementary School. The goal of this project is to upgrade the existing building to support the teaching and learning needs of a 21st century school. The project will include renovations to the main entry vestibule, adding a new check-in station and security window. Once buzzed in from the main vestibule, visitors will enter the newly renovated main office, featuring a brand new reception desk, teacher mailbox stations, and dedicated storage rooms. Moving into the main lobby, we are offered our first glimpse of the school's new interior design. The main lobby will be refreshed with new built-in benches, a new display case to show off student work, and a feature wall to provide a new home for the school's many plaques and awards. The theme of the interior design is based on the school's dolphin logo, with each hallway color-coded and named to reflect this theme. Here, we leave the open ocean and travel down the sunny shore, a yellow hallway that connects the main lobby to the media center and the classrooms beyond. As part of this project, the existing health suite will be fully renovated and greatly expanded to include a treatment area, 3 rest stations, a dedicated nurse's office, and an isolation room. Moving down the Sunny Shore hallway, we arrive at the media center. As one of the building's most important spaces, the media center is defined with its own entry portal and large vinyl letters. The end of each hallway is marked by playful colors, bubble-shaped lights, and signage to help with wayfinding. Here we turn from the Sunny Shore and enter the deep sea. All building corridors will feature brand new flooring and a wave-like floor pattern to reflect the ocean theme. The staff lounge will also be fully renovated, with new lights, flooring, and plenty of cabinets and counter space. Let's grab a quick snack from the vending machines and continue on our tour. As we head northward, we come across the Kelp Forest, a green hallway which runs past the media center's north entry doors and the kindergarten classrooms. Here, we'll take a peek inside a typical kindergarten room to see the planned renovations. Kindergarten rooms will feature brand new teaching walls with plenty of marker board space for instruction and tackboard space to display student work. New cabinetry and sinks will provide built-in storage, and a dedicated charging station will be provided for student devices. Additionally, a new 2-compartment cubby will be provided for each student. Let's head back out into the hallway, and this time turn towards the open ocean, the main school corridor which runs from the lobby, past the cafeteria and gym, and north towards the courtyard. All corridors will feature brand new large tack boards to display student projects and accomplishments. As part of this project, all wood doors will be replaced, and the existing bathrooms will be fully renovated. The building's heating and air conditioning systems will also receive upgrades to improve comfort and energy efficiency. Now it's time to approach the final hallway, the coral reef. Let's take a moment to stop in one of the newly renovated music classrooms. These will feature a teaching wall, similar to the typical classrooms, but will also have dedicated instrument storage cabinets, a mirror for student posture, and acoustical panels for sound attenuation. The large metal window assembly at the north end of the courtyard will be fully replaced, this time with an aluminum storefront system for better energy savings and a nicer appearance. As we approach the other end of the coral reef hallway, let's take a quick look into one of the upper grade classrooms. This room is a perfect example of the brand new ceilings, LED lighting, fresh coat of paint, and new built-in cabinetry that all classrooms will receive as part of this project. To finish up our tour, we'll head back to the front of the school and visit the art classroom. The art room will be reconfigured and expanded to provide more floor area for student activities. The existing cafeteria ramp will be demolished and a brand new kiln will be enclosed in its own small room for safety and improved ventilation. New hand washing sinks and cabinetry will be provided at the back of the art room, and the entire north wall will be lined with built-in tall storage cabinets and flat files for student artwork and supplies. It is our hope that all of these changes will support you in making Letty Marshall Dent a modern, fun, and effective learning environment, one that will meet the needs of students, teachers, and staff for a long time to come. Thank you for joining us on this tour and for allowing us to renovate your school.
So we worked with the architect to come up with cool ideas for the interior of the school and include a fun theme. Have some renderings here from the video to show you, and it shows already the vibrant energy that you're gonna feel with new lighting, especially, and new finishes. Media center. For our procurement method, we use our multi-step procurement process where potential bidders are submitted technical qualifications as the first step of the bidding, and then specific criteria is analyzed based off experience, expertise, financial, and legal standing. Those technical qualifications are evaluated on a pass-fail basis, and only those that pass are invited to submit a price bid. The contract is awarded to the lowest bid submitted, responsible and responsive. Our invitation to bid went out on March 13th on eMaryland Marketplace. 111 contractors received notification. Only 2 contractors submitted technical proposals. Out of those 2, both were pre-qualified and were invited to submit a bid on May 8th, and the 2 of them submit bids. For our selection, for our recommendation of selection, it's Chicago Construction, locally in the area. They are located in Calvert. They have extensive experience in the area. All the jurisdictions around us always are awarding contracts to them. They are currently doing our Mechanicsville project, which is ahead of schedule too. Proposed fees are included here. The base bid was for $14,149,000, and we are able to pick up all the alternates that included in the project that sum up to $17,689,000. Maybe you ask why so many alternates, because we don't know in this time what market we are, and we want to be strategically smart that we can fund this project with the base bid, and then if we can pick up any alternates, makes it our money run more. So, and then we're asking contingency of 743,620,020. Sorry. I added the financial summary, so we can see there the budget that we have versus the funding that we have. I'm happy that the bids came in the lower scheme and that we were able to afford all the alternates. And at this time, the recommendation is that the Board of Education approve this agenda item as presented, and I am open for questions.
Mr. Davis?
My first thought was, the roofing system, and you explained it here in the alternate.
Yes.
I don't know where A, B, C, D, and E sections are. Is that most of the roof?
Yeah, it's the whole roof. We put it on a base bead as 2-ply, just because we don't know if we can afford a 3-ply, but our preference is 3-ply, so that's why we put it as an alternate. And there's only one area that is not in replacement schedule, but it's the majority of the roof, yes.
The life of the existing roof, is it at its end? Now?
It's in schedule for replacement a couple of years ago, yes.
Okay.
So we have
Any structural anomalies, anything that you've seen in the building itself? It's an old building. Didn't find any?
No, so when we do the study, the architect brings a structural engineer to look around and make sure that we did the same thing in Mechanicsville. That's the first step, that they need to tell us if we can renovate with the structure that we have. And then all the scope is picked up during the study. So no structural issues. Now, we're doing roof, so that's one of the things that we will discover when we open roofs, but this building looks strong.
Just a comment, and I would agree with you on all your alternates. When you get into renovation, you don't know what you're getting into.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you open up walls and you got asbestos, or you've got hazmat material. I assume you have allowances in there for
Yes,
remediation.
yes. And
that's all I
we
got.
test as much as we can.
The only suggestion I'd have is, you said limited construction. You might
what we
want
call
to
it.
change that word. You sound like a marketer. But I think it's great, but to me, it's not limited. It's a pretty major renovation.
Yes, it's a terminology that we have to follow with the state of, depending on how we fund and how many groups of items we do.
Well, thank you.
No other questions, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I'm just absolutely thrilled that we're finally going to be able to take care of Letty Marshall Dent as we are with Mechanicsville. Two of the last of the schools really to have any significant work done to them. And while we endeavor to make sure that we're taking care of all of our schools so that they will last as long as possible, it does get to a point where we do have to do something, and Letty Marshall Dent has been waiting very patiently, so thank you. The renderings you have shared, based on having walked through that school so many times, is going to make a huge difference. And I just encourage students, staff, and parents alike to understand that it is a lengthy process that will require patience and good humor on the parts of everyone. But at the end of the day, the final product is going to be extraordinary. So thank you very much for doing your due diligence and working so hard to make sure that this is a project that can go forward, that will go forward. And based on the work that you've done at our other schools and the attention to detail that you have, I'm really pleased.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you also for your high standards that you have set for yourself when you bring presentations before the board. We have seen drone views, and now we see the video
Better
presentation.
videos.
That is excellent. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It put us right inside the building of what it will be. And I know the students, the faculty, staff, and the community will appreciate their renovation because it's going to be like a new school. And also, it lets citizens and visitors to our county know that we value education. Not only what our buildings look like, but what's going on inside of the classrooms as well. Also, the colors and the lighting do have a significant impact on people's moods, their attitude, and achievement. So it's just a cheery atmosphere for visitors and students alike. So thank you so much, and I know it's going to be wonderful when it's done. You have planted the visual in our minds, so we know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
With that, if there are no other questions, is there a motion to approve this action item?
I move that the Board of Education approve the construction award to Scheibel Construction in the amount of $17,689,000 and construction contingency in the amount of $743,620 for the limited renovation at Letty Marshall Dent Elementary School.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Jim, thank you very much. Any further discussion? Then all those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much. And Dr. Marr, updates for the 2023-2024 school year calendar, information item.
Thank you. Seems I've been here more to see you about the calendar this year than I have in other years.
I'm glad you said it.
So, as we've talked about before, this is something that we brought forward to you earlier in the spring, and we piloted a couple of days through this spring with virtual days that were 2-hour early release days converted to virtual learning days. We held them on April 21st and May 12th. From that, you charged us to go back and work with the calendar committee to take the recommendations and the survey data from those 2 days to bring forward some recommendations. So we have some proposals that are coming forward from the calendar committee. First, we looked at the data for this, and I got to go to the glasses, sorry.
We all do.
So the first survey after the April pilot day, we had over 3,000 responses, and it was about half, just over half, were parents and guardians. Another quarter of those were both, another 10% or so were staff and parents. So about 65% were parents, and then another portion of those, a quarter of them were roughly students, and then the remaining balance of the quarter with staff, solely staff. Those numbers actually mirrored the May results too. While the numbers were lower overall, the percentage of the population remained the same, which is good when you're looking at the two surveys. That means that when you're comparing one set of numbers to the next, they're consistent, at least in the balance of the respondents who responded. If you look at the graphs on the bottom, what they did was we asked what kinds of activities students participated in. And so a lot of review activities, which was the intent, using it as a recovery day and a review day. You really don't want to introduce a lot of new instruction on a day where it's solely virtual. There were opportunities for recovery, small group assistance. We met with both students and staff, part of the Slack group. In fact, Lily is here. She has been part of those meetings with the students, but also served as part of the calendar committee this round as well. Some mini lessons for students who may have needed additional small group or one-on-one, only a small portion with new instruction, and several differentiated activities. For the younger learners particularly, there were paper and hard copy materials that were distributed. So that was pretty consistent across both of those. We started to ask, the main question we wanted to know from our stakeholders was, should St. Mary's County Public Schools include a limited number of virtual learning days in future school year calendars? Overall, the response was yes. In fact, that number increased if you look at the April 21st to the May 12th. Consistently, the more people favored it across the board particularly in the second round. I think once they had more notice and they were able to plan for it, there was greater favor for it. The exception is elementary parents. Elementary parents was the one group that did not support it to the level that other groups in all of the respondents did. And obviously with daycare issues and things of that nature, that's an understandable set of responses, and the calendar committee did take that into account. We brought the calendar committee back on June 5th and again on June 12th to look at the data and discuss. The main question is, should we consider days to include, and if so, how many, if we look at our 2-hour early dismissal days, should we include? They came back with the recommendation that we consider 1 per quarter. So the 4 days that were identified were October 9th, which is the Monday holiday for a lot of people, for Columbus Day or Indigenous Peoples Day. That day we use as a half-day parent conference day, so it actually, we're recommending, the calendar committee is recommending that day be looked at as an asynchronous day, so that you can also have parent conferences while students are continually also working with their schoolwork. The other 3 days, December 8th, February 9th, and April 19th. So again, that looks at specific days within the calendar once a quarter. The charter school, incidentally, also identified 4 days that correspond relatively close to those days. And in addition, the calendar committee said, take a look at April 1st, which is that day at the end of spring break. It's the Monday following the Easter holiday. That day we have on our calendar as a makeup day. We've had in the past to use that day when we've exceeded the number of snow days or inclement weather days. What the calendar committee suggested was we use that possible makeup day as an asynchronous day should we have to add it back. So we'd be bringing forward a proposal to you for those 4 days plus 1 additional asynchronous if necessary. Okay.
If it ever snows again in St. Mary's County.
Right, if it ever, right. We haven't had to use.
Much more likely that
we haven't had to add back in those days in a number of years. But we always want to be prepared, right? So that's that. In addition, and you'll notice that box at the bottom, one of the things the calendar committee talked about was really making sure there was consistency across the system, particularly in how assignments are loaded at certain times of the day, also providing suggestions about how we reach out and differentiate the supports for our youngest learners as well. So those will be should this board approve this recommendation, we would be working with the Division of Instruction and across with our schools to ensure that consistency. So that's the first recommendation. The second one came about after all this discussion about the virtual days, following the General Assembly's decision to move the primary election day from June back into May. So when that happened, it is currently on a school day, May 14th, which means we have to find a day to look at for that. Fortunately, the way our school year calendar is scheduled to end in 2024, it's in the middle of the week. So we can add an additional day there, moving from a Wednesday to a Thursday. We would, however, keep that staff day on May 14th. So it would be a staff work day on that May 14th, so that you didn't have to have staff come back the following Monday. So it would essentially be that they could work there, and we would allow for some telework options so that if the school is being used as an election site, they would still be able to have a work day there. So those are the 2 recommendations. We would continue to have these surveys open for the public, and we encourage them to continue to provide input through those surveys. We also have public comment that is open now until the board meets next, which would be July 19th, which is when we would bring this forward to you for action. Then pending your approval of these recommendations, we would then take it to MSDE to approve those 4 or 4.5 days of virtual learning, because it does have to go up to the state superintendent for his approval, much like we did the last time. So.
All right. Questions?
No questions for me.
Where do you find the survey?
The survey, we can send it out again. It was sent out through all of the schools' independent newsletters. They're s'mores.
Oh, okay.
Because
So
we wanted to make sure the communication went straight to families in the mode that they were used to at most, which is directly from their principals.
okay. Okay, because I saw community members.
Yes, because it was sent out there and it was posted on our website as well, people could access it anywhere. And then, of course,
Okay.
it's an open survey, so people could share it.
Okay, thank you. That's all.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you for all your hard work, meeting with the committee numerous times, back on the board's recommendation that you go back and check into this and check into that, and it's really appreciated. So you've been here a lot because you're doing your job and you're doing it well. Thank you.
All right, thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very much.
Let's see, that is our last item. Our next regular board meeting will be on Wednesday, July 19th, 2023, with executive session beginning at 8 a.m. and the open meeting beginning at 9 a.m. And with that, we are adjourned.